For most, 50 Shades of Grey is a titillating but harmless way to turn the girls in your book club 15 shades of red. But for some, the world of ropes and paddles and high-priced kink classes are changing the definition of romance. In her series Our America on OWN, Lisa Ling reveals a secret erotic world where things aren't always what they seem, including the names of the participants.
You're here for my pleasure.
This is Mistress Nina Payne.
And all you need to do is remember that your purpose is to serve and please me.
She is a professional dominatrix.
Then you can go ahead and greet me properly by kissing the tops of my boot. Start from the bottom and work your way up.
In real life, her name is Kimmy Inch, and she's a master of BDSM, which stands for Bondage and Discipline, Dominance and Submission, Sadism and Masochism.
You love being my little toy.
Yes, Miss Nina, I love being your toy, Miss Nina.
Clients pay hundreds of dollars an hour to submit to her every whim, to be her submissive. She meets them in a dungeon here in Los Angeles where there are a variety of themed playrooms with names like The Vault.
I think I'm going to restrict you even further.
This is just one small part of the world of BDSM, a world I immersed myself in for the series Our America on OWN. Brought out of the shadows by the popularity of the book 50 Shades of Grey, BDSM has become mainstream. Professionals like Kimmy are teaching regular people how to engage in non-standard sexual practices called kink, things like spanking.
And instead of going in with a flat palm, like so, I prefer to sort of slightly cup the hand. So it's actually gonna sound like I'm hitting him a lot harder than I am. And that sound is gonna stimulate him in so many different ways.
Next, Kimmy introduced the audience to another form of power exchange, letting someone tie you up. In the BDSM world, it's called rope play.
You're gonna sort of wrap it around twice, like so. Twist it at the top, bring it through the hands, and tie it just like so.
I'm told that being bound at someone else's mercy can be a turn on, but I quickly find out what side of the power exchange I prefer.
I definitely don't like to have my hands tied up. Like, I totally feel loss of control. Like, it starts to make me really anxious.
But even before 50 Shades of Grey made it popular, there were enthusiastic practitioners of BDSM.
Your endorphins are getting released, and your nerves are getting all mixed up and excited, and your hormones are getting released, and you're experiencing things that are both physical and psychological, and that experience is an adrenaline rush.
Experts suggest that between 15 and 20% of the American public has done something kinky in the bedroom, and some of them may look like the couple next door, a couple like Keith and Monica.
That's a girl.
They are happily married and live in a small New England town. They also happen to practice BDSM.
Some of our extracurricular activities involve rope and floggers and all sorts of kinky activities.
I think they're just kind of normal stuff that a lot of regular people, if they knew how to do these things, they'd be thinking, yeah, you know, that's not so bizarre.
They play in the spare bedroom with what Monica calls pervertibles, regular household items that are easily converted to toys.
This is our playroom where we keep all of our toys and our pervertibles. This is our favorite room in the house.
Here we have a whole array of things. Wooden spoons, wooden spatulas. These I got on the clearance table at the local grocery store for probably about $2.
And then there are spatulas that can be used in a similar way. Also, make a nice little spanking device and actually deliver more sound than pain.
But like any marriage, there can be personality clashes. And when marriage partners dabble in BDSM, there can be kinks in the kink.
When we play, I have no problem submitting to Monica, but when it's my turn to dom, it isn't always so smooth.
So Monica and Keith take a road trip to a BDSM B&B called La Domaine, where they get expert instruction on how to help Monica submit to her husband.
You know, if you were truly submitting, it's not your place, that's his. When you start to control the details, what feeling are you having? What's the emotion there?
It's always been my job, my responsibility, make sure everything is just so. Mm-hmm. because nobody else is going to do it.
Right.
And I'm the one who has to do it.
That night, they practice what they learned. But back in a Los Angeles dungeon, Kimmy says her work is strictly business.
You don't have sex with your clients. In fact, you have a rule against it entirely.
There's so much more going on with BDSM. It's way more intense, way more intimate, and way more psychological. I don't need to have sex with my clients in order to get them to that place.
Everything has been negotiated ahead of time and is consensual, which is at the heart of BDSM.
Thank you, Miss Nina.
I think I'm going to enjoy playing with you, slave.
Thank you, Miss Nina.
Talking openly about BDSM is still rare, and even with the 50 Shades of Grey phenomenon, people who engage in it still mostly do so in secret. But for some who practice it, there's no going back.
I can't imagine discontinuing these great sources of pleasure. It's just unthinkable.
Since I do consider kink to be an integral part of who I am, to not do kink would be denying part of who I am.
Part of life for many Americans, exploring some very different shades. For Nightline, I'm Lisa Ling in Los Angeles.